On November 2nd, 2019, Timothy Harper entered into an Oklahoma City Twin Peaks restaurant carrying an AR-15 rifle and a Glock handgun. A person possessing a valid handgun license pursuant to the provisions of the Oklahoma Self-Defense Act may carry the concealed or unconcealed handgun into any restaurant or other establishment licensed to dispense low point beer or alcoholic beverages where the sale of low point beer or alcoholic beverages does not constitute the primary purpose of the business. Any person who intentionally or knowingly carries on his or her person any weapon in violation of Section 1272.1 of this title shall, upon conviction, be guilty of a felony punishable by a fine not to exceed $1,000 or imprisonment in the custody of the Department of Corrections for a period not to exceed 2 years or by both such fine and imprisonment.
With that. Now, the Oklahoma City District Attorney is under the opinion that you cannot carry a long gun into a restaurant that has a bar. The only problem with that is it's done every day, and I see it done even by law enforcement officers that go into Wilshire gun range. So we find that this is really inconsistent with the law that's taken place. Also, I have been made aware of that the Oklahoma City Police are willing to arrest any person in a restaurant/bar that has anything other than a pistol and they don't have a handgun license. We also find this inconsistent with state law, and also we've got a bill that actually clarifies that. That was actually ran last year. We just haven't got it passed into the governor's desk yet, which obviously we're going to make that a priority like we do all of our other gun bills this year. I was in court today. I watched the whole thing. OK2A is keeping an eye on it, along with supporting U.S. LawShield, who it looks like will be representing Tim Harper in this situation. So again, I keep getting inundated with questions. Can I carry my gun into a bar? Well, the fact is, no. If it is a bar that is 51% is sold in alcohol, no, you cannot be in there, and it's a criminal act. If it is a restaurant that has a bar, the fact is, yes, you can be, but I don't know why you would want to be carrying a fire or a long gun, rifle or pistol, a rifle or shotgun into that area now to begin with, which is what's created all this ruckus anyway. So keep that in mind, folks. Just go ahead and live out your normal life day. I had a very good conversation with the district attorney, D.A. Prater, and because I told him we're concerned that they're just going to start throwing cuffs on anybody that is in a restaurant that has a bar, and he assured me that was not their intent and that they do not want us would start doing that. But obviously that it's amazing how they're hung up on a rifle that is in a restaurant/bar. Because if Mr. Harper had his AR pistol, say that the barrel was just a quarter of an inch shorter with the rifle he had, and it didn't have a stock, he would have been perfectly legal, and there would be, in their eyes, no felony. Of course, our eyes, he was perfectly legal. It was just a very... A lot of people say, why wasn't this fixed? Why wasn't this fixed if you carry into a restaurant that has a bar? Well, the fact is, with constitutional carry, and you guys saw how complicated it is because that was 12 sections of law, and there's still stuff we have to touch up and fix in it. Yes. It's still got to be fixed in it. But we knew we had it to the point where it could be safely moved forward and go from there, and we can make other adjustments because there's always something that has to be adjusted. It's like a farm. You always got something to fix. Anyone here live on a farm? Really? Yeah. There's always something to fix. Well, so it's like that. So one of the we had House Bill 1111, which obviously my plan was for it to go through last year, but just the way the legislature works, it's held over and it's in the possession of the floor leader of the House of Representatives, which is Representative John Eccles. He and I have already had the discussion, and we've already, the bill was designed to clarify that a person that is in a bar, that if they carry a gun into a bar, under current law, it is a felony, 2-year felony to carry into a bar. What this bill does is it takes the responsibility, basically kind of back off the bar owner, but anyway, what it actually does is it pulls it from a felony to a misdemeanor, and then it also pulls it from the 2 years to a $250 fine if the patron refuses to leave and they're in possession of a firearm. Well, that's just like anything else under the business owner's rights. So far, I don't have any heartburn from anyone so far, but we'll see how this kicks up. Now, a business that is a primary food and has a bar, but it's a primary food, the language is already here, which clarifies that a person can carry a firearm into that facility, or into that business, provided that the business owner allows it, of course. But we're adding one more line, so we're going to amend it because I want this clear, because I had a conversation with D.A. Prater, and I said, obviously, we've got people that are concerned if they just go into a restaurant bar, you guys are going to just start throwing cuffs on them. And I think his point was pretty well made obvious what they're wanting to do and get accomplished with who they had it accomplished with. But we're adding this line because I want to make sure it's perfectly clear. In fact, let me just start back at the top here. Provided, however, a person may carry the firearm into any restaurant or other establishment licensed to dispense beer or alcoholic beverages where the sale of the beer or alcoholic beverages does not constitute the primary purpose of the business. This is the new line. It shall not be deemed a criminal act for a person carrying a firearm to be in the designated bar area of a restaurant as long as the person carrying the firearm is not consuming beer or alcohol. Because I myself have had this, that you go into a Chili's or something and they're real busy, so you can wait in the bar. Well, I would go do it, but it's kind of this gray area that's not real cool. We're taking the cool out of it. It's going to be clear. Yes, you can do that as long as you're not consuming the alcohol. And also the way I look at this too is that even if you're with someone that's in your party, that even if you purchase their alcohol, as long as you're not consuming it, you should still be fine under this. And this is what OK2A does. And you've heard me say it 1,000 times, we take the stupid out of gun laws. Because as long as you're not consuming, I'll get right there to you. As long as you're not consuming, it should not be an issue. Yes, sir.
In your discussion with D.A. Prater, was his emphasis and concern more on the subject of the long gun or the lack of SDA license as far as prosecution?
I'm going to go ahead and leave that on my no comment table.
Okay.
Because every time I do, it's just something keeps sucking me back to that. And it's a fair question, and the fact is, let's go ahead and make it clear. The Oklahoma City Police, if you walk into a restaurant bar, you have a long gun, they're going to come get you. I don't mind much more clear you can do that. Whether I feel it's legal or not, that's what they are going to do. And whether you have a license or not, I think they're after the long gun. But at this point, that's just why we always tell people to go ahead and have a concealed carry or weapons license anyway. This is the strong point where it just cracks me up. A piece of plastic makes a difference whether you go to jail for 2 years or not. Stupid. It's just stupid. Yes, sir.
I think it might be a good idea for the people on the phone there, the camera, and in the internet, state the current law.
State the current.
Going to restaurants.
Okay.
All confusion lately.
I just read basically the current law, but okay. But what we'll do is thank you. I will do that. The current law is you can have an SDA license if you have an SDA license or a valid license from another state, and you can go into a restaurant that has a bar. Perfectly legal. We're not seeing any problem. Now, this is where it gets interesting. If someone from Kansas, who's not required to have an SDA, but Oklahoma recognizes their driver's license as their SDA, goes into that same restaurant, I don't know how they're going to respond to that. They should respond that it's reciprocity. But here we go back to a person from out of state has a right that we residents right here don't have. That's why we're here to take the stupid out of these laws. So, but at this point, like I say, folks, I mean, God, go to your restaurant, have a good time. Just do what you were doing. Like we stated, and I knew it would be a problem. But the issue is, you walk into a restaurant with that rifle. The result is there'll be 100 restaurants that go into no gun zone.
And the law is very, very strict on the point of, if you go to a restaurant that sells beer or alcoholic beverages, hard cider, any of your things that they're licensed to dispense, and you happen to have a firearm with you, it has to be a handgun, and you have to have a license.